Thanks for inviting me to participate in this webinar in this way. I'm really glad to be able to share some of the stories and experiences I've had with wisdom healing Qigong. I've been practicing for 10 years and, I have to reflect back, and I'm just really amused about how we used to learn how to do wisdom healing Qigong. We'd go to a workshop, we'd pack up and we'd drive 5 or 6 hours to where the workshop was being given. And we'd take the workshop with Master Mingtong Gu, and then we'd take this back and we had one little DVD, and we'd try to practice and learn these practices in depth and with some refinement. And then several months later, we'd have questions, and we'd take another workshop and drive halfway across the state and then take another workshop. And it was almost as if our learning was being sponsored by the petroleum industry. I'm really jealous of the possibilities that you have now, where everything is really right there, online, accessible, right there. You can learn all 4 of the fundamental practices in a year on a foundation level. You can continue to refine year after year. And just really just a smarter way of learning a practice, which is a very deep practice that will change your life. It certainly changed mine. When I was in my 60s and went to that first workshop, I was becoming depressed. Just 40 years of meditation practice, and my body after 45 minutes on a cushion would become stiff and sore, and I'd be grumpy, and I wouldn't be able to really get into any kind of meditative absorption. And in that workshop, that first workshop, I learned that I could practice meditation in movement, and my body could be a source of learning, a place to come home to, and to move halfway between heaven and earth, and find my place with the balance and with focus. So it was a deep inspiration, and serendipitously, my wife Jane had attended the same one, and we'd been together for 40 years, but we never practiced together. She came from a Christian transcendental tradition, and I was from a Buddhist tradition. And when we both went to that first workshop, we were just totally taken. And we've practiced together ever since. We practiced the movement meditations in the morning, sound healing at night. And this has added such a dimension to our relationship now of half a century that it's just an unspeakable treasure. And so also being in my mid-70s, you run into a lot of difficulties as you're aging. And a kidney cancer was a real challenge that I faced. And when I was first diagnosed, I went into the practice like my hair was on fire. I just practiced sound healing in particular. And I was able to slow and actually stop the growth of the tumor. And we held it there for about 1.5 years. And finally, I got together with the medical community, and we actually did a cryoablation. And where first I was told I would lose my kidney and take the tumor along in the kidney in surgery, we did a cryoablation, and I was able to, with less invasion, we were able to freeze, and now I'm cancer-free. But more importantly, I discovered in that practice the energetic cause of the cancer. I discovered that I'd been driven by a fear and by an anger that I'd had subconsciously ever since I was a teenager. And this was a driver my whole adult life, and it was working on a subconscious level, and I hadn't gotten it. And it was through this practice that I discovered the cause of that cancer, what had been eating away at me on the inside. And I was able to address that and transform that fear and the anger into a balance, and into a kind of a state of compassion and kindness that would not have been possible had I not had these practices. And so this is really about finding your home in your own body, finding your place halfway between heaven and earth, finding your place on this earth, becoming of the earth, really a life-transforming guide that will be of immeasurable benefit for you. So I wish you well in these practices. I hope you can really, particularly in these COVID times, enjoy how you can learn these practices efficiently and quickly. And you don't have to drive all over creation in order to learn something that is so fundamental and so deep and so basic. So I wish you well. Thanks for spending a moment here, and I'm sure we'll cross paths on this journey at some point. How allow.